Hello everyone, name's Blitz, as you know that already. This is a video I had in mind for over a month, but now is a good time because it's the last day of March, and I was thinking to myself, let me make this my last video and everything. I know I did a reaction video earlier, and I hope everyone liked that one, you know. But yes, as I mentioned this 2 weeks ago when I did the ranking of my own Mental episodes from 2024, I said along with Gary, an episode from 2023, which is Waspinator, I will be explaining the great backstories between these two episodes and why I love these episodes in particular. Now with Waspinator, I know I didn't do a rank of my own Mental episodes from 2023. I might do it, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, these two episodes, they really, cling to me. Like, not cling, sorry, that's not the right word. Like, they were like really special to me while making these episodes. Like, yeah. Because, yeah, I'm a big Pokemon fan and a Transformers fan, but that's not the point, though. Like, that was not the whole point, but, like, wow, there was, like, a lot of dedication to that came to these episodes, and, yeah, it's crazy, I go to these two episodes, especially, like, once a week to say, these are some great memories that I had while making these episodes, so, yeah. But, yeah, if anything else, let's go into, first, Waspinator's backstory. Alrighty, with Waspinator. Now, Waspinator is a character from the Transformers franchise, first being in Transformers Beast Wars, I believe, and then how I got introduced to Waspinator was Transformers Animated. Both his voice actors, Scott McNeil, who voiced him in, Transformers Beast Wars, and Tom Kenny, who voiced him in Transformers Animated. Now, what I liked about the backstory of Scott McNeil when he was coming up with the inspiration for Waspinator is that, he based it off how, like, when you open a car, it makes the screeching noise. That's how he explained it, making this kind of voice. Not the one I'm doing. That's just my Stitch voice, but, And then with Tom Kenny, I didn't really know the inspiration, but guessing from my side, because when he did his Waspinator voice, it sounded like MODOK from Superhero Squad, and it was really funny. His was like very menacing, like with his Waspinator voice, like, Waspinator offline, Waspinator, and with Waspinator. Now, before I explain why I loved his episode so much, I have to go back way long ago in 2023. Now, Waspinator, this episode went through a lot of changes because originally I was supposed to do an episode for Bill Cipher when we were making a list, but I was unavailable to like do an episode for the, Bill Cipher. But at the time we were also making the list, Christian was gonna plan on doing an episode for Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, what do you call it? But he eventually changed it to Waspinator. So this is where we did the change. I was like, hey, I'll do the episode for Waspinator, you do my episode for Bill Cipher. He agreed, and yeah. He's a bro for that, doing the episode. Now for Waspinator, yeah, going to this episode. Now, there was, the year 2023 where I took a break from, for 3 months off of YouTube due to personal things. And, yeah. But when coming back and when I noticed, I was like, oh, I gotta make a list for Waspinator. I did all the choices by myself, which was really good to work on because work on the voice, with Waspinator. I think Waspinator was like one of the easiest episodes to do with, like, yeah, this kind of voice, and who could do this kind of range of the voice, But the 36 actors I chose for Waspinator, I think they could really play him, like, eventually. If anything, we need Waspinator back from the franchise. But yeah, I did work on the episode at midnight, and in the morning I uploaded it. After uploading that episode, around that time, me and my family were going outside, and yeah, we were going out to eat some pizza and going shopping and everything, buying some gifts. Because I know this is like after Christmas, but there was like, my aunt was not there at the time, so she was like, hey, I want to buy you some gifts. So I was like, yeah, that's really nice. But yeah, I think this was a really interesting story from Waspinator, especially a good trade-off with me and Christian, because if he didn't do the switcheroo with Yugi and, if I never said, hey, can you do my episode please, bro, and, none of this would have happened. And I love this episode. And what I also liked was like the music I used for Waspinator is that I use the music from Skillet's Monster because it's one of their best songs. And yeah, I used like the monster version, and like where it's deep and everything. And yeah, I do really appreciate how I was able to do this episode. But just a reminder, even though with ornamental episodes, when you do switches and everything, yeah, apparently, what was it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, you're doing it for the person. But for this occasion, because I did all the choices, came up with everything, even though Christian came up with was the suggested Waspinator, I mostly did all the work. So this is my episode by right. And yeah. And now with the story with Gary Uck. Let's go. I wanna be the very best that no one, like no one ever was. Alright, now we're here with Gary Oak from the Pokemon franchise, originated from the Pokemon games. His name from the games was Blue, while Ash Ketchum's name was, Red, But yes, with Gary Oak, yeah, with being Ash Ketchum's, first arrival from Kanto, basically the beginning of Pokemon and everything. Now, this was a really special one as well. Well, before I explain all that, I have to give a very special, shout out and basically, dedication to James Carter of Cathcart, who voiced Gary for many, many years. I believe 25 plus years with this character. This was his first Pokemon role, and the fact is that not only Gary took on other roles when Pokemon was going through a lot of changes, like taking on James, Meowth, Professor Oak, and getting new roles like Turtwig, Aggron, what else? Palpitoad, just anything like that. And even LGs like Todd from the original Pokemon series, anything like that. But yeah, the backstory with Gary Oak, why I wanted to do an episode, not just because of the dedication. There was a lot more to that, I think. Yeah. So way back ago, we in 2023, originally this episode was supposed to be for Nelson Muntz from The Simpsons, and I was like, yeah, let me do an episode. But while I was rewatching episodes of Pokemon at the time, I was like, hey, I want to do an episode for Gary now. But again, with my 3 months break from YouTube. But during those 3 months, I was rewatching a lot of episodes with Pokemon, from like older episodes to new episodes, or just anything like that. So, and the funny story is, Gary Oak was supposed to come out in 2023, while Waspinator was supposed to come out in 2024. But I wanted to do the switcheroo because I wanted Gary's episode to come out in 2024 to be the start of Ornamental of 2024. So yeah. So while creating the episode for Gary Oak, I did rewatch all the episodes that he was in, because my favorite episode with Gary was him and Ash competing in the Johto League, and then afterwards Gary had a lot of character development, just wanted to be a professor just like his grandfather, Professor Oak, which was really surprising. But yeah, what else can I say? So while making this episode, I will admit I took inspirations for some of the choices from Fresh's episode from Jet Dog and my episode for Kevin Levin I did back in 2023. Now, this episode was also emotional because in 2023, James Carter of Cathcart was diagnosed with throat cancer. Because James, he was a lot to remember from the Pokemon franchise. I know he did other anime work like One Piece, Sonic X, or anything like that, but Gary, along with the others, were the best ones from my opinion. So I did all the choices by myself, all 36 of the actors that I chose. Yeah, that was amazing. I worked that on one day, posted it, and I did get emotional because I thought this was gonna be my last episode, because around the time I was making some decisions with Ornamental. But yeah, I continue with Ornamental. Well, can't say for 2025, but still, yeah. I love making this episode for Garo because going back to watch OG Pokemon episodes, come up with the choices. Christian did help me back in 2023, but some choices he suggested I did not use, no offense. I just came up with anything that came up in my mind at the time, and it was totally worth it. So yeah, with this acting like, yeah, how Gary Oak used to be like, look, I got a Pokemon and you don't. I got a Blastoise, but again with the character development as well. So I just wanted to match anything that can match Gary, like voice and everything. And yeah, what else can I say? Oh yeah, the music I used for Gary was "It's Different Pokemon U." It's a really good, like, not remix, but a good Pokemon song. But yeah, wow. Every time I look in this episode, I thank James every day for creating this character, Gary Oak. But yeah, that was the stories for both Gary and Waspinator. But hey, wait. That's not all. There's going to be a little message after this one. Before I get to the special message, I hope that everyone liked the story, the backstories of both Waspinator and Gary Oak. Again, those are the reasons why I do love making the episodes. But I forgot one aspect from both these episodes. For Waspinator, I forgot the inspirations. Also because I went back to my episode of MODOK and going back to Fresh's episode of Lilo and Stitch, and seeing who can match Waspinator, or just like the monstrous voice of like, "You monster." Anything that's like related to like Golem, Meatwad from like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, or just anything like that. And then the one I forgot for Gary Oak is also mentioning, while the 3 months I was taking a break and watching Pokemon episodes, I was watching a lot of Pokemon interviews with the voice actors. There was ones I was watching with either with James Cathcart by himself, or with him and Michelle Knotts, and explaining how he got the role of Gary, and like, yeah. Again, those are also the reasons why I love making those episodes as well. So the special message is that if you guys really like this, I will be making another episode after this one. So yeah, I already have episode planned for 2 characters. I'll give you a hint. They're both from 2024. One's a female and one's a male. That's all you're getting from me. Okay. I'll give you another hint. Red and blue. So yeah. But if you guys really like this, I won't say new series, because I want to see how this really branches out. But if you really like this video and everything, just let me know in the comments. I will be putting both the links for Gary and Waspinator's episodes, along with my playlist of the ornamental episodes I've done over the years, if you want to see more backstories. This is kind of similar of Behind the Mantle, but like where I explain much more of like why I love them, why I hate them, or like what was going on like during these episodes, basically. So yeah. Messages from Waspinator and Gary. Go ahead.
Waspinator likes it. I like it.
Yeah, it was okay and everything, Yeah, I like these episodes too. So yeah, again, Gary and Waspinator, those episodes are very special to me till death, maybe. I don't know. What the fuck? But yeah, anyways, hope y'all enjoy this video. Hope y'all have a good night. And this is my last video of March, and maybe you'll see more of like April, depending what I have. But yes, everyone have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, what's up, chimps? What the fuck am I doing? Anyways, bye-bye.